Coming up on West Side Stories, Grand Valley's president is retiring after 12 years. We take a look at the reasoning behind the decision.
We also take a look at a GVSU fraternity spending their spring break walking 160 miles for their philanthropy.
Also, we see how the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange has a unique way of experiencing craft beers in a cheaper way. All that and more next on West Side Stories.
West Side Stories is produced by students from the Multimedia Journalism program at Grand Valley State University. Support also comes from the School of Communications, inspiring thought, perfecting practice.
Welcome back to West Side Stories. I'm Callie Hubbard.
And I'm Reagan Bussett.
Grand Valley State University President Thomas Haas announced his retirement, effective June 2019.
West Side Stories reporter Jake O'Donnell sat down with Haas to discuss his decision and the future of GVSU.
The news traveled quickly across GVSU's Allendale campus after Haas's big announcement a few weeks ago. Now that the dust has settled and classes are back in session after spring break, it's back to work for the university president.
I have one more year. I'm going to work until that last minute on the job. That's who I am. But it was one of those hard decisions because I look forward to work every day. We work with great students and faculty and staff. The board has been very supportive. I have great colleagues in the president's cabinet. And we have a wonderful mission, I think is what really motivates me every day to help create this place we call Grand Valley.
When asked about the reasoning behind his important decision, Haas says it's time to focus on his still growing family.
Towards the end of last year, my wife and I found out that our son was going to have a girl with his bride, and we were thrilled to be the fifth granddaughter for us. And we were starting to think that our children and our grandkids live in different parts of the country, and we would like to have some additional flexibility to go visit.
During Haas's tenure as president, GVSU has experienced a great deal of growth, not just in size, but in athletic and academic success.
Well, I think look back, and one of the perspectives that I wanted to bring, that we had a very good foundation for this university that was put together with previous boards, with the three previous presidents. And what I wanted to do is to ensure that we would continue to focus in on students. Student success was my mantra. We are a large university, yet we continue to have that small college feel. We will continue to be America's smallest large university because of that type of intimacy. Our students coming here are graduating and going out and making a name for themselves, so to speak, in their communities, in their profession, across the world.
Since Haas took the reins at Grand Valley State University in 2006, the student body has viewed him as a celebrity. Looking into the future, many Lakers are sure to fondly remember the man known as T. Haas.
I am on Student Senate, so I've met President Haas through that, and then I've also worked the football games in the parking lot, so when he's going to the Gold Lot, I've seen him in his car with his wife. He seems really friendly and like a great president. He's done a lot for this campus.
My time here at Grand Valley has been awesome, and T. Haas has definitely been a big part of that. I've interacted with him a couple times, especially during the Exercises Medicine Walk. He is always there helping students and being out in the community, doing whatever he can do, and it definitely affects this community in a positive way, and it's going to be really sad to see him go.
Obviously, when you come to Grand Valley, one of the first people you hear about is T. Haas. You know, everyone knows him, and he's one of the iconic people of Grand Valley. You hear about his interaction with the students, the selfie taking that he does with the students, and just him being around. You know, at many schools like Michigan State, they don't know the president's name or they don't see them. Whereas here you see him everywhere because he just wants to be a part of the community. And, you know, unfortunately he's retiring, so it's hopefully that sense of community will get passed down to the next person who takes over his job.
As his tenure draws to a close and students prepare to say their final goodbyes, Haas has an important message to share with all those attending the university.
First and foremost, I want to say thank you to the students who are choosing us, staying the course, graduating, and being great Lakers for a lifetime. The students we have coming to Grand Valley have choices, and they could go any place across Michigan, across the nation, to achieve their degree. So work hard, take advantage of the opportunities that you have. Really get to know another student who is different than you. That will enrich your life. And I find that always a positive as a result of a collegiate experience. And if you do this, you're going to be positioned for success while you are here. And that is a wonderful trait to then take into your next level of education or into your career.
With still over a year left in office, Haas has plenty of time to guide GVSU. Until then, his top priority will continue to be the students that he has grown so fond of.
I am so proud of this university. I'm so proud of our students, and I'm so proud of them when they leave us and go out and make a difference in the world.
Over the last 12 years, he has left his mark on Grand Valley State University. He's become a favorite among students, faculty, and alumni alike, and going forward, President Thomas J. Haas is sure to be a Laker for a lifetime. Reporting from Allendale, I'm Jake O'Donnell.
Thank you so much, Jake, and congratulations to President Haas. And from all of us here at West Side Stories, thank you for your years of service to this community.
Recent school shootings have forced educators to question whether or not their school is ready to be able to handle an active shooter on campus. West Side Stories reporter Jessica Kroll talks to officials at GVSU to make sure the university is ready for a potential campus emergency.
Students of all ages across the country have been concerned about their school safety in the past month. According to the Educators School Safety Network, there's an average of 70 school threats per day, and Michigan is in the top 10 for states of concern since the Valentine's Day shooting in Parkland, Florida. On March 2nd, a Central Michigan University student shot both his parents in his dorm room. A tragic story so close to home has GVSU students worried about their safety. It raises a question for GVSU staff and students. Is Grand Valley really ready for an emergency?
Grand Valley's ready. We've prepared for all types of hazards. Certainly the emergencies have changed over time. Before it used to just be tornadoes and winter closings, but emergencies have certainly changed within the last decade. We're constantly thinking about what can we do better today so that tomorrow we're more prepared and we can perform better.
GVSU is home to more than 23,000 Lakers, and each of them should feel safe, no matter where they are.
We have a strong relationship with GVPD, and you know, on the rare occasion that the need arises, they've been extremely responsive. We're well staffed. We have full-time staff in the building at all times, as well as several student employees, all of which are trained to help keep this place safe.
Although GVSU has these security measures in place, students and staff should still be prepared for a campus emergency. On March 12th, GVSU posted a video to YouTube titled, "What if there was an active threat on campus?" that takes you step by step to prepare for potential danger.
So after the events in Florida and up at Central Michigan, our social media sergeant thought that it would be good to get some additional information out. So one of those concepts that we teach here at Grand Valley is run, hide, fight. So we got a bunch of our officers together, and they thought it'd be pretty neat to just kind of throw a little tag word out there of what students could do, what our staff and faculty could do if that were ever to visit Grand Valley.
This three-step model is taught to some students as well. Rodney Klingler is a student manager at Papa John's on campus and received some emergency training last August.
I feel like if it came to a situation where I had to take action, I feel like I'd be able to successfully be able to help. It would be a shock at first. Obviously, I'd be in a little disarray, but I feel like I'd be able to get myself out of it pretty quickly and help the people around me.
GVSU has many security measures to keep students safe, like security cameras, card access dorms, and police officers who partner with other local law enforcement. O'Donnell says students should feel safe on campus, and Mary and Klingler agree.
Students should feel safe because of all the efforts that we placed into the preparedness and prevention aspects.
It's a pretty safe environment. It's a pretty safe campus when you look at the statistics and compare it to other places.
I feel like Grand Valley is definitely a safer campus than most places, and I just want to say it's probably due to the area that we're in.
Even if there aren't emergencies on campus, GVSU police work to make sure students are always protected, like when walking alone at night.
There are a couple things that are not really just to use during emergencies, things that you can use every single day, every night while you're walking across campus. The Guardian Safety app, they can click on a panic button per se, or if they don't reach their destination, their expected time, it will send our department an alert. We also do the Safe Walk program where we actually will have a cadet or even one of our officers, if the cadets are not available, walk somebody across campus at nighttime if they feel unsafe.
Grand Valley also has an emergency alert system in place called GVSU Alert. Students will receive a text, phone call, and or an email alert for emergencies or other things such as school closings or delays. Text messages go out in as little as 22 seconds, but the most up-to-date information can be found at gvsu.edu/emergency. In the event of an emergency, the green box on the page will turn red, and the information can be viewed in real time as the dispatcher updates it.
The system's pretty robust. It's got a couple backup and redundancies that if you don't get one message, maybe your text isn't working or your phone is dead, you'll certainly hear other components of the system to warn you that either there's an emergency or something that we need you to take attention to.
Students say they feel safe at Grand Valley State University, but that does not mean the campus is immune to threats. O'Donnell says students should be familiar with the three-step model and know what to do in the case of an emergency. For Westside Stories in Allendale, I'm Jessica Kroll.
Sergeant O'Donnell says new security measures and police will be added to the Grand Rapids Pew campus next fall, and he encourages students to rely on GVSU alerts for the most up-to-date emergency information.
While politicians in Washington disagree on just about everything these days, most of them would agree that every child deserves great health care. As Coy-Win reports, one student organization at GVSU is putting a plan in motion that will help local children get the care they need.
It was the most incredible news I'd ever heard, like to the point where I was in tears. I was elated.
That was Cameron Peterson on what it feels like to be part of Dance Marathon, a student-run organization that raises money for the Children's Miracle Network, money that goes to help patients like Jillian Dattel. The event took place at Hope College in Holland. By sharing their stories, families like the Dattels have impacted the lives of many students.
The best part of Dance Marathon for me is just meeting all of the families and really getting to know them over the last 3 years and hearing their stories, but also hearing so much more about their daily lives and how much their kiddos are so much more than the illness that they have.
The children here are all patients at the Helen DeVos Children's Hospital. Family after family got up on stage to share their personal stories of their grief, their hope, and their success.
And it's listed as a fatal brain disease, but she's listed as stable. So, but
many of these young children struggling with illness leave a lasting impression on students. Even after graduating from Hope College, Peterson still keeps in touch with the Dattel family and their daughter Jillian.
Her mom would always just tell me how much Dance Marathon meant to her because it was a support group for her, an opportunity for her to lean on to others, students and other families alike. And that just has meant so much to me, but also like being close with her and just talking with her and being able to support her through this. Like even tonight, I met up with her again and she told me, hey, Jillian is on this new medication and she was able to actually play outside in the snow with her siblings for the first time.
The emotional bond between Peterson and Jillian's family is plain to see. For other students like Addison Duda, the weight of their work doesn't sink in till the very end.
Starting with the $sign. Go ahead.
Seeing all the emotion being poured out when the numbers go up to show the final amount that everybody raises, and all that emotion that everybody was feeling definitely was displayed in me as well. Like I was crying at the end just after my first year in Dance Marathon, and it really just instilled a lot of power in me to want to do more.
Duda says he will continue to help Dance Marathon grow, but for Anthony Wynn, this is his last year.
It's like I hope this movement continues, and I know that it will, because there will always be families that will change people's lives because of their stories. And that, I think, is the core of Dance Marathon. It's really focusing in on the kids and focusing in on why we dance rather than the money that we raise.
Even though this year's big event is over for Hope College, it doesn't mean the support for their local children's hospital is done.
I want people to know that this isn't just a 24-hour event. This is a lifelong event that we are able to take part in, and we are able to truly, and I want people to grasp it, truly change lives.
Reporting for West Side Stories, I'm Coy Wynn.
While the Dance Marathon at Hope College is over for this year, you can still help local families by donating to the Helen DeVos Children's Hospital.
Spring break is usually a time when students head south in search of warmer weather and white sand beaches. But some students sacrifice all that to help others. Reporter Reagan Blissett shows us a group of students that trade palm trees for walking shoes.
20 men, 8 days of walking, all for one cause: to raise money and bring awareness to multiple sclerosis. The Alpha Tau Omega fraternity at Grand Valley State University decided to spend their spring break walking from Traverse City to Allendale for their philanthropy, MS. The event is known as ATO Walks Hard, and for them, the 160-mile walk has become a tradition.
We want to shine a light on multiple sclerosis because it's a disease that many people have that is not talked about, and that affects not only their life but their friends and their families, because it destroys the body and destroys the person that they once were. We want to raise awareness for this disease and ultimately help the National MS Society find a cure for it.
Helping with that fight is neurologist Daniel Thane at the Helen DeVos Children's Hospital. He says there is no cure for MS at the moment. He describes the disease as the body attacking itself.
The immune system, in some ways, kind of goes haywire, and then that can attack the nervous system, unfortunately. And it can be anywhere in the brain or the spinal cord. It can include the eyes as well. So it's a very insidious disease.
Dr. Fain praises ATO for their journey, and their 8-day trip includes the help of churches stopping in at night to rest from the day's trek. They also know their sore feet doesn't compare to what an MS fighter endures every day.
We walk probably 8 or 9 hours on average every day. Just knowing that the symptoms that we have, sore muscle, losing the ability to walk, we have these symptoms for a week, maybe a week and a half, and knowing that people with MS have it for their entire lifetime, that's really motivation for a lot of people.
Sometimes the men are motivated by personal stories. Second-year walker Connor Cavallero has a close relative dealing with MS.
I knew that a family relative had MS, and that it was really a personal connection to not only just my family relative that was affected, but the millions other affected. And I really wanted to get involved and help others realize how terrible this disease is.
After 8 days of harsh weather and walking 160 miles, the ATO men raised over $40,000 to the National MS Society.
All of our money is directly donated to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, and what they do with that is they help funding for finding new cures. They help with patients that need money for their medicine.
The ATO men returned to Allendale with friends, family, and even a wheelchair waiting for them. Their long journey from Traverse City to GVSU was over. However, the fight for MS is not. To donate to the cause, you can visit atowalkshard.com. Reporting for West Side Stories in Allendale, I'm Reagan Blissett.
Going to a bar these days can lighten your wallet, especially if you like to drink craft beers. But in our next story, reporter Sam Schrepperman visits a new bar that's out to change how much you pay for beer. It's called the Kalamazoo Beer Exchange.
Beer Exchange is the stock market for craft beer.
James Flora has always wanted to own his own bar, but wanted an idea that stood out in a way that created an atmosphere for everyone. Back in 2007, Flora says he was inspired by a unique bar he saw online.
I was trying to put together a concept that would be really fun with craft beer, and actually saw this concept in Munich, Germany, but not the way that we feature it here today.
The Beer Exchange works very similar to regular bars. Before the market opens, all beers from 11 to 6 start at fixed prices, similar to bars like Bell's or Hopcat, Flora says. Once the market opens with a ring of the bell, prices stay at the fixed rate for a short amount of time.
After the first 15-minute trading period, based on demand, the beer prices will either go up or down. So if a beer is hot and people are really excited about that beer and they're buying a lot of that beer, that price is going to go up in price. And if people aren't so excited about a particular beer, that's going to go down.
There are 28 beers on tap that are used for the bar itself, as well as the market. Flora says this gives people the chance to try different types of beer that they may not usually buy.
And it would encourage people to maybe try beers that they necessarily wouldn't want to try or maybe were afraid to try because of the price. And it just kind of encouraged people to be more adventurous.
Flora's main focus for the Beer Exchange was to create an environment that was welcoming to everyone. He says that he created a way that beer was fun and inviting. Andrew Chen loves beer, but says that the Beer Exchange has a unique way of getting people engaged.
I would definitely say they kind of have this unique beer exchange system where the prices fluctuate from time to time.
To add to all the excitement of ever-changing beer prices, market crashes happen randomly throughout the night, keeping everyone on their toes. Crashes can happen at any time of the night, giving people only 5 minutes to order any beer.
When you're trying to buy your beer, you're kind of watching the price, and then suddenly it can all crash, and then you can buy all your beer really cheap. So it kind of adds a new excitement to your drinking habit, so then you're kind of chasing the prices as well.
With all the beers on tap changing in price all night, the Beer Exchange is able to go through 5,000 glasses a week of beer, opening spots for new beer and more chances to try them. In Kalamazoo, I'm Sam Trepperman.
Flora says he's excited to see where the Beer Exchange will go and says he plans to open up a new location in downtown Detroit in the near future.
We have just enough time left in the show to bring you a short feature from WGVU Digital Studios. Check it out.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Moss. Today, Order Up gives you a taste of Italy. We visit Nonna's Trattoria in Ada, a quaint, vibrant spot right downtown. It serves up hearty Italian made as you would imagine from scratch. So let's check out Nonna's Trattoria. This is very exciting. You've been here now 1.5 years in the Trattoria.
Correct.
And you've had the pantry for
close to 5 years.
Close to 5 years. So what has it been like having this restaurant? Because let's talk about first your background. You were not in the restaurant business your whole life. So how did you come upon opening this restaurant?
The recession had a lot to do with it. We were living in Italy, and I was running a company called La Marzocco, which manufactures espresso machines. And we got caught in the economic downturn, and I basically had to take early retirement so that the company could exist and move forward. So we moved back to the States, and at the time I was 62, and in the middle of a recession, having lived abroad for 15 years. And so we just said, okay, well, we've got to figure out something to do here. And I'd been around food and food machinery for so long that I said, okay, we'll look at something like a coffee shop. And we found a location here in Ada, opened it up, and I said to my wife, now what we're going to do is we'll do coffee, and then we'll make a little food in the afternoon that we can heat up in the morning. And she said to me, no, you have to do your omelets. And I said, no, I'm not going to go from president of the company to short order cook. And she won, and we did up to 90 omelets on a Sunday. Cracking eggs for everyone.
So you are really entrenched in the community. How does that feel?
My feeling was that Ada and Grand Rapids were ready for a step up in food and atmosphere. And that's what we did. And it's become a very community-oriented location. We don't advertise. It's all been word of mouth. And people come and they come back, and there's still new people coming.
And they bring their friends.
And they bring their friends, that's right. People talk about freshness in food and, you know, everything's quality. We start only with the basics. We roast our own chicken. All the eggs are cracked fresh. In the omelets, the spinach is fresh spinach sauteed every morning, mushrooms sauteed every morning with garlic and a little hot red pepper. The oatmeal is different from most you've had. It's not just oatmeal, but it's steel-cut oats and oatmeal. The toppings are all fresh fruit. All of our toast is from bread from Nantucket. We don't take shortcuts. The best part of the business is when I can go around to tables and talk to people and get the feedback that we're doing the right thing. And you know, we're a part of the community, and it's very satisfying, and it's also very humbling.
Thanks for joining us. Next week, we walk across the street and show you the other side of Nonna's at Nonna's Pantry. That's next week on Order Up. I'm Jennifer Moss.
Support for WGVU Digital Studios Order Up, provided by Spartan Nash. Spartan Nash, taking food places. More at SpartanNash.com.
Well, that's all the time that we have for this week's show. I'm Kelly Hubbard.
And I'm Reagan Blissett, and we'll see you again next week.
West Side Stories is produced by students from the Multimedia Journalism program at Grand Valley State University. Support also comes from the School of Communications, inspiring thought, perfecting practice.